Here we go. I've gone back onto the beginning of War Castles, so we're going back over a little bit of ground, but it's worth it. You see, that's London, City of London. The District of Columbia, Pentagon, and the Vatican. All the links I will leave in the description box.
In 1999, the United States was quietly being taken over by Great Britain. A vigilant patriot named Russell J. Gould recognized the threat, and in a series of strategic moves, he saved us from foreign invasion. He took control of the Title IV U.S. flag and logged it in with the United Nations, becoming sovereign successor to Great Britain. When the political dust settled, Mr. Gould had taken over several high-ranking government positions, and that put the country's true terrorists on notice. He introduced a language called now-time quantum grammar. Then he used it to prove all previous legal and financial documents to be fraudulent. This saved the U.S. trillions of dollars in debt. He redesigned the periodic table of elements. His work was referred to as extraterrestrial technology and genius. As a reward for his efforts, he was arrested and tortured by the government that he saved.
Right, in 1999, that was during the Bush regime. I'd said the Obama, but it wasn't, it was Bush. Of course, criminals. Again, they were puppets of the British Empire, the Committee 300, Charterhouse.
War Castles is a documentary series chronicling the events involving Russell J.
which, of course, is in the City of London.
Gould's rescue of the free world. Join us as we lay out the facts and answer a very crucial question. How is all of this a secret?
In the year 2007, the mortgage crisis hit the United States. Several of the guys in my unit got together. We were sitting around the shop one day and talking about how we were losing our homes and we were all about to be tossed out on the street. We were really kind of worried about it. As we were sitting around talking shop, we were like, hey, we got the clearances to do this. We know people in the right places. Let's get together and let's see if we can't drum up and figure out what in the heck happened.
The Banker's Manifesto of 1892. And on that same link, you will see the Banker's Manifesto. To the left-hand side, you will see a link there of 1934. Very similar. Basically to take people's houses away so they don't have the ability to fight this criminal mafioso.
The heck caused this mortgage crisis incident and what really happened there. So after a few months of digging, we had ran across Judge Dave Wynn Miller and Russell J. Gould, and what they had done to the mortgage industry that they were responsible for. And that was that they had syntaxed the mortgages and found them to be 100% grammatical fraud. And
you'll see I've just put in my startpage.com syntax Wynn Miller. So syntax is, and Wynn Miller, his name. David Wynn Miller, Wikipedia, David Wynn Miller's, here's his website. Parse Syntax Grammar by David Wynn Miller. There's a YouTube there. Right, so go on and do your research, guys. Okay, you'll be able to understand this much better.
And so that was a big eye-opener for us. So we looked at that and we were like, hey, so it wasn't the subprime mortgage lending that led to the collapse. It was the fact that these guys had syntaxed the actual contracts, the banking and mortgage contracts, and found them to be 100% grammatical fraud.
These guys meaning Wynn Miller.
And Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac immediately bundled those up and sold them to Bank of America. And 3 days later, when Bank of America found out they were sitting on bad paper, they sold them to, I believe it was Wells Fargo. And from there, the fire sales had started with these bundled mortgages. So, with that, we started digging deeper. Well, who is Russell J. Gould and who is David Wynn Miller?
Yeah, so I meant to call Russell J. Gould, Wynn Miller. Great guys. I came across them some while ago, at least Wynn Miller I did.
But what really unlocked the entire mystery for us was the fact that there was a grammar key on the mortgages that had been syntaxed, the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac mortgages that were syntaxed by these guys. They had a grammar key or a syntax key on the side of the paperwork. And so we were like, okay, well, we understand how syntax works and how there was grammatical.
This is a deja vu for me because I'd come across these but didn't really understand the significance.
Fraud going on, but what gave this key, this syntax key that they were putting on the paperwork, the power to syntax that document? And with that, that's where we uncovered the largest national security secret in this nation's history, if not the world itself.
Yeah.
So what
the papers are fraudulent.
Basically, this led us down several rabbit holes. And one of the rabbit holes that it led us down was we had to go all the way back to the beginning of U.S. history or American history to figure out what in the world was going on there, because this goes back that far. So we went all the way back to the start of the 13 colonies and the original bankruptcy of the United States, and that's really what this all stems from, is the bankruptcy of the United States, the first bankruptcy. And so when the 13 colonies was fighting for its freedom from the British Crown, there was a post office down in Philadelphia, and that was the Benjamin Franklin Post Office. And that post office was open until the war started, and because all war vacates contracts. So because the 13 colonies weren't yet an independent nation state of their own, or a nation of their own, they had to close that post office down because they were fighting for that national statehood. And after the American Revolution, that post office couldn't be opened back up because it was in a state of bankruptcy. It owed 1.6 million francs to the French for funding the American Revolution. So at that point, Spain and France argued over who was going to put the Postmaster General position here in the colonies to open it up to commerce. And why is that important? Why was that so important? Well, when we take a look at it, Spain argued that they had found America first, that Christopher Columbus had found America first, and so they had rights to it. France argued that without loaning America the 1.6 million francs, America wouldn't even be open for capture. But the King of Great Britain, or Great Britain still being the reigning monarch in the world, told Spain and France, I'm still the reigning monarch in the world, and I'm going to put my post office in up there. Those are my people. And when we went back and looked at the American history, you could see that the founders of the Republic talked about that. They said that they would much rather have chosen Great Britain as opposed to Spain or France because they were used to Great Britain's wiles. They understood how that monarch operated. And so they decided that it was best to just continue working with him because they knew how he operated, and they knew the wiles of this guy's operation and how his construct worked. And they weren't too sure about Spain or France and didn't want to start getting involved with someone they didn't know anything about. So they decided to go ahead and join her with Great Britain, and they put the post office in Washington, D.C., Great Britain's post office in Washington, D.C., which is a foreign enclave of the United States and never has been part of the United States.
Right. I have to call that a day. I'm going to go on to part 4. Okay, God bless.